Team Freeview, welcome to this special review Voxcast of the all-new Psychic Awakening. This one we're covering the forces of the greater good.
Yes.
One of your personal favourites, Mr. Bone?
Yes, probably my favourite.
Yeah, that's understandable. That's fair enough. Your first major army in Warhammer 40,000, at least as an adult man.
Yes. Well, I mean, you're being very generous there, aren't you?
Yes,
I'm a human. I'm a man-child.
Man-child.
Maybe.
Yes.
If that.
So what we'll do is we'll take a bit of an initial impression format, if you like. Then we will dive into the book. Perhaps won't cover every single stratagem, but certainly because there are some new ones in here, which is very cool. But certainly the things which jump out to us. Well, why don't we start this off? So initial impression-wise for me is the Tau. I suppose initially you could look at it and go, "Oh, I don't see anything which immediately leaps out." However, I have to say that when I looked at it, there were things which did immediately jump out at me. I actually think there's some very interesting choices in there now.
I do as well.
Which will that lead away, in your opinion, from say Triptide and 50 shield drones? You know, we're talking competitively, or will that actually be? Will there be some variety now?
Yes.
Okay.
Potentially, yes.
Potentially, yes. Which we can discuss in more detail later.
Yeah. I think there is, as you'll see as we get along in this, I think there is, they're certainly championing the Farsight Enclave at the moment. Yeah. Which is a very different play style. Yeah. And with a couple of key changes that they've made to that, you actually suddenly go, okay,
there's some validity to it.
There's some validity here. Whereas before it used to be like a really close range gun line. And there's a couple of key things that when we get there, I'll say, and this is why I think actually it could be interesting and quite competitive.
Right.
And different, which fills me with excitement.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
I think it's really good.
But they felt a bit stale for a while.
They did.
I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, they did. I still think there's some. I mean, you know, this is just it's giving you a few new things to play with, guys. You know, it hasn't. It's not a complete codex rewrite. It's not fixed, in my opinion, some of the inherent problems with the army anyway. But what it has done is opened up a new avenue, which I think is worth exploring. Yeah. And definitely you can make some new builds in here, which I think will be not only have the potential to be competitive, but actually just really fun. Yeah. Really fun.
I agree with that.
Yeah. If anything, what this is going to do, even if I'm kind of wrong with my foresight of what I think might happen with it, if anything, it's just going to make your casual games a lot more fun. And that's cool.
It is cool. And obviously it's exciting enough or interesting enough for you to want to explore those options. 100%. Which it already indicates it's not like we've read it and gone, you know what, I'm not really seeing too much in this that I would necessarily make a change to my existing lists. You know? And obviously it's all relative. It depends whether you're playing competitively or for fun anyway.
If you're playing for fun, this is great. You're going to love it. Yeah. It's really cool.
But there are some interesting competitive options. Well, at least it appears.
Yes.
Format we're taking, we've got Servants of the Greater Good here. So the first thing you see is a Tau Empire name generator.
Fantastic.
We've seen a lot of these name generators, and it is really cool. In fact, we found this semi-helpful just to give us some inspiration for some character names for narratives. So it is a nice little touch. Yeah. Very, very well done there, Games Workshop. I love a little bit of name generation.
Yes.
Then we have an all-new Commander Shadow Sun.
Yeah.
With a gorgeous model.
Oh, she looks great.
Yeah, looks really.
I mean, she was already a babe. Now she's
a
super babe.
She's just a mega babe.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's got updated guns. She can now be taken in any Tau set, apparently.
Yeah. So not just Tau.
No, so I'll go into her in a little bit more detail briefly. I mean, there's not revolutionary changes there, but we'll go into her in a little bit more detail in a moment. But then there are set tenets, and that basically means you can create your own Tau enclave. So which is quite interesting. The problem with that always has been, in my opinion, is that a lot of the codexes in 8th edition, they very much have had a couple of let's say chapters, or septs, or whoever it is, that have really been like head and shoulders above the others. Yeah. And so you sort of see them taken again and again and again. Yeah. So the pertinent question is are any of these build your own ones better than just taking Tau?
Yeah.
Because the Overwatch on 5s is just incredibly powerful.
It is incredibly powerful.
What do you think?
Well, I took one in the freeview game. I made my own, which was a bit more of a fun list.
Yeah.
And
there are some interesting.
I think there's some
bits.
interesting stuff, but I just don't. I mean, I'd have to really deep dive and like say, cool, this is exactly how I'm going to build an army around these tenants. But so yesterday I took I think it's a hybridized weaponry. I think the one it's called.
We took upgunners. Which we'll go into in a little bit.
Yeah.
Or upgunned rather.
Yeah, and it is hybridized weapon.
Yeah, hybridized weaponry. That's right.
And you know, so that's all about extra AP for your burst cannons and giving your assault weapons an extra 4-inch range.
Yeah.
So if you build around that, actually, you can make some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
And then you, well, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself a little bit here, but so yeah, I think depending on like the one that community showed us was the. I can't remember the name of the actual tenant there, but it's the one that you can move and shoot with all of your battle suits without penalty.
Yeah.
So if you were sticking with the kind of Riptide stuff, that saved you points on target lock.
Yep.
So and then you can use 2 others there as well. So it means like velocity tracker and ATS on your Riptides. Plus that tenant, you're always getting that, right?
That's right.
And I mean, there is the argument that, you know, if you've got 50 shield treads around you, I mean, the 5-up Overwatch is nice, but they're never getting into combat with you anyway.
No, that's true.
So
I could see some specialised attachments because there doesn't appear to be any penalty to not mixing your Tau Seps within the army. So I could see some specialised attachments where maybe someone goes, right, I'm going to burst cannon spam one detachment and maybe I put upgunned on it, which we'll go over, but basically it's an additional -1 on your AP weaponry or for your burst cannons rather. Yeah. You know, and there might be some options to create your own Seps and create like a very I suppose a very competitive specific detachment to plug in. Having said that, if you're looking at things like Farsight, which is now quite interesting anyway, you're probably going to end up just going pure Farsight. Yeah. You know, we'll see how that pans out, right? But okay, so we'll cover those in a little bit more detail in a moment. They've also introduced prototype weapon systems now.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah, this is very cool. Now, this is basically what they've done with the Tyranids, with the biomorph upgrades from Psychic Awakening. Correct. The previous Psychic Awakening. Or no, the one that was previous to the previous Psychic Awakening.
Previously.
Previously. So basically now you can actually give units effectively a relic. Relic weapons or guns,
which is really cool and very Tau.
It is, you know, it's a bit of prototype weaponry.
They get this special delivery from the Earth cast. They open up all these super burst cannons. They're like, oh, this is cool, and it goes, these are just for you. Yeah, go see how they go and report back to us.
And if you don't come back, we know something went wrong.
We know they're terrible. It's cool.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Then they've got a couple of pages of stratagems, which is very, very nice.
There's actually some okay ones.
Yeah, they've quite a few nods to the old Kroot, which I haven't seen circa, years now. Since 6th edition, really.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we'll be seeing resurgence in Kroot anytime soon, but we'll highlight any that become.
I was actually looking at like Vespids and stuff to see if I was like, is this? And I don't think it is.
Yeah, and the Vespid is actually not a legend unit, but it feels like it is.
Yeah.
You know,
it's definitely from a time gone by.
And there will definitely be people watching this which won't even know what Vespid are.
Yeah.
And it is actually in the Tau Codex.
Yeah.
Right, then we have the 8. The 8, not so much reimagined, but they've got the data sheets in here. I think the points are the same. I could be wrong about that. Okay. And then we have Farsight Enclave's specific little section with their own stratagems. Some warlord traits, 3 of them specifically, and 3 relics as well.
And they also get some extra stuff on top of their tenant now as well.
Yes, that's right, which is also quite interesting.
Yeah.
So we will cover that. So first up, we do have Commander Shadow Sun. So she is now apparently able to be taken in any Tau army. So are you sure about that? 'Cause she does have the Tau Empire and the Tau Sept.
Yeah, it's one of the special rules. I think
we've got Defender of the Greater Good.
It might be Supreme Commander.
Supreme Commander. This model can be included in a Tau Empire detachment without preventing other units in that detachment from gaining a Sept tenet. That's really quite cool.
Yeah.
Note, however, that this model does not benefit from any sept tenet unless the sept tenet selected for that detachment is called coordinated fire arc. So basically, unless she's in her own sept, that's our sept, she won't benefit.
No.
But she won't prevent anyone else from benefiting from their sept if she's commanding a different force. So that's nice because frankly,
very fluffy.
It's very fluffy and it gives a lot more use out of the model as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very, very cool.
I kind of feel that they should do that where, I mean, Farsight makes sense to not do that.
No,
but like,
he's his own. He's own.
But like they should, people like characters like Darkstrider and all that sort of stuff and Longstrike, I think should be able to just jump over into other ones anyway.
Tricky one though, really, isn't it? Because where do you draw the line? Like, because there are other faction special characters. Should they be able to, should Dante be able to command, the Flesh Terrors, for example, like as a successor chapter?
Yes.
Where do you draw that line?
Well, I guess it's just because the towers, the fluff of how it works is slightly different.
Yeah.
So it's not like this is my chapter. This is what I fight for.
Yeah, they're a unified front. Aren't
they?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like someone like the Sanguinor perhaps should be able to pop up in Blood Angel successor chapters.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Well, because no one really knows much about him. He sort of appears as he's a bit of a Legion of the Damned-esque character.
Yeah.
And that would be quite cool to see that he appeared for every son of Sanguinius. But now we're talking about something completely
irrelevant. Let's stick with the greater good.
Right. So Commander Shadow's son.
So she has different weapons.
Yeah, so you got your Dispersed Fusion Blaster, which is basically 2 shots, strength 7 -4 D3 damage. When resolving an attack within half range, roll 1 additional D3 when inflicting damage with it and discard 1 of the dice. Cool. Okay. High Energy Fusion Blaster, 1 shot, 24-inch range, strength 8 -4 damage D6. Normal melter rules. A light missile pod, never heard of that before. It's 2 shots at strength 7 -1 damage D3. Very cool. She's got a pulse pistol, that's fine. And a flechette launcher, which is 5 pistol shots at strength 5, or strength 3 even. So she's got her drone support, she's got camouflage fields as before, -1 to hit. 5+ invulnerable save with her Stalker battle suit. I think that is a change, isn't it?
No, she always said.
She always had a 5+ invuln. Yeah. Okay. Still got Calyon and Montcar, and she can do she can do them both.
Yep.
But not both at the same time.
No. Or she can do Calyon twice.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. Infiltrator, same as before, and she's still got her 2 drones,
which are slightly different now. So I think
what's the main change?
So I think one of the drones gives her a 4+ invulnerable.
Yeah.
And then I believe it's anyone within 6 now gets a 6+ shrug as well.
Okay, I'm not. It's the Advanced Guardian field. We can see that she does have a 4+ invulnerable save. And it's a Tower Empire model whilst within 3 inches of one of the 6. Yeah. So quite interesting.
Which means she'd get that as well.
Yeah, that's right. So she's pretty tasty. She is pretty tasty.
And she's the same points.
Yeah.
And she's cheap already, really, for what she does.
And I think it's always been really, really powerful for the Tower to be able to do that Montcar or Calyon, up to 2 times.
Yeah.
I think it's really,
now,
really,
here's something I didn't check. I don't suppose they've changed the wording on reroll hits, so it would be like a chapter master.
Oh, okay. Well,
one can hope and dream.
Well, where does it say that she's doing that?
So it would be. We'd have to go back to find Calyon to see if the wording has changed.
Well, we've got Genius of Calyon.
So that allows her to do it twice.
Yeah.
So
I don't think you have Calyon in this book.
It would be back. No, so
it's not in here.
So it wouldn't.
It's not in here. Because we're just using it from the Tower Code.
Yeah, that's fine. Look.
This is a supplement to the Codex.
I understand, but sometimes they change little things.
Sometimes, but not in this.
But I was hoping that might be it.
It's not what's happened. So then we get into our sept tenets. Now, sept tenets, there are some interesting ones. We've already kind of covered some of them.
Yeah.
But you've got turbo jets, adding 1 to advanced rolls for jetpack units with this tenet, and you add 2 inches to the move characteristic.
So jetpacks seem to do something a little bit more now other than
just have a keyword.
Yeah. Other than give you fly, which is nice.
Okay. I'd love the jump. I would love the jump, shoot, jump thing. I think that would have been a really powerful and interesting sept tenet to have, but that's not in here, so don't get your hopes up. Dedication to the cause, add 1 to the leadership characteristic of models. Okay. Soldiers in arms, increase the range for the greater good ability to 9 inches for units with this tenet.
It's not bad.
Stabilization systems, that is your battle suits moving and ignoring the heavy weapon penalty. Okay, cool. As you say, you can save yourself a slot for what's it called? For stabilized? What's it?
Target lock.
Target lock, exactly. Hardened warheads. When resolving an attack made with a high yield missile pods, seeker missile, or smart missile system by a model with this tenet, improve the armor penetration characteristic of that weapon by 1 for that attack.
So that's okay. So if you're running Riptides and Storm Surges, with your smart missiles
or
and
broadsides
high yields and stuff, or broadsides as well, that's not bad.
It's
and
pretty good.
then you could add that in with the stabilization systems as well.
So you're still now able to shoot and move on the go.
Exactly. So and then also all your smart missiles, if you put ATS in them, are -2.
Yeah.
And then you can move and shoot without penalty, which is what you would normally put on your broadsides, is target lock.
Yeah.
It really does kind of kick them up a level as far as their armor penetration is concerned and their damage output.
I do think that is quite an interesting one.
Yeah.
And it is definitely something you want to build your army around if you choose it. Sophisticated command nets. When resolving an attack made by a vehicle model with this tenet against a unit that has one or more marker-like counters, re-roll a wound roll of 1.
So, so if you're running like long strike and all those sorts of guys,
it's good for your hammerheads.
Because he's giving you, I believe he gives you +1 to wound from memory.
Long strike, yes, I believe so.
So,
I mean, re-rolling one to wound is all right. You know, you've got your lieutenant ability there.
Yeah, so he adds 1s to wound rolls already against vehicles and monsters, and then you can re-roll the wound rolls. I mean, that's pretty good.
It's not bad. Hybridized weaponry. Add 4 inches to the range characteristic of assault and grenade weapons. This doesn't, however, apply to prototype weapon systems.
Yes.
So the new sort of pseudo-relic that you can get. Look, not bad. Always a fan of something which does increase range. It is only 4 inches, but it does make a big difference sometimes, especially on those shorter range things like your cyclic ion blasters.
Yeah. It makes them really, really interesting.
Makes them very interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah, because you suddenly with an enforcer who starts on the board, you've got a 30-inch threat range.
Yeah.
And he can fly. It's really good.
Yeah, it's cool.
Really, really good. And it's the same with your fusion as well. Yeah. So it makes I mean, cold stars are obviously amazing. They're really, really good. The ability to just move 40 and then go bam, bam, bam. But it does also make your normal commanders a bit more valid and a bit cheaper, and you just wrap around so no one can shoot them. Have your shield range in there, just moving up the center of the board, bam, bam, bam. Yeah. Hey, it's not bad.
No, it's got some utility.
Yeah,
it's got some utility. Then we have gifted pilots. If in your movement phase a vehicle or monster model with this tenet does not move or moves a distance less than half its move characteristic, until the end of the turn, when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by that model, re-roll a wound roll of 1. So it's quite interesting because it's kind of like the sophisticated command net that you're effectively getting a re-roll, a wound roll of 1. However, it does say vehicle or monster model with this tenet does not move, so that will affect things like your ghost keels now. I believe they're monsters.
Yes.
And I believe also the Riptide counts as a monster as well.
Yes, that's correct.
And you're not allowed to move, and it's distance less than half its move character, or moves a distance less than half. I mean, that is actually quite good.
Yeah.
You're re-rolling 1s to wound then on your heavy burst cannons, on your Riptides. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by that model, re-roll a wound roll of 1.
Yeah.
As long as you did not move, or you've moved up to half. Yeah. It's not bad. No. It's an inbuilt re-roll 1 to wound there.
Yeah. It's good. It's good.
I mean, that supports your traditional
Triptide
list.
Yeah, quite well.
Interesting one. Yeah. Advanced power cells, tactical drones, models with this tenet have a move characteristic of 10 inches. Okay. Super drones.
Yeah. Which
like frisbees.
Yeah. And again, that's an extra 2-inch move.
Yeah, I don't think I would spend, because you get 2 of these tenets.
Yeah.
If you're making your own. I mean, gifted pilots is right up there for me. I do think that's really quite. I mean, you've got it all the time, basically.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I mean, it's a bit annoying one though, because it's telling you to castle up again and not move very much.
Yeah.
So it's a bit, for me, a bit boring to play. But I get its utility.
I'm kind of done with Tau as a castle army. So for me, when I see stuff like that, I go, cool. Yeah. Next.
What else can we do?
Yeah, exactly.
Maneuvering thrusters. A battle suit unit with this tenet can advance when it falls back. Look, that's pretty cool because it gives you some maneuverability, but I mean, I wanted to see a jump shoot jump in here.
Everyone
definitely. Did. You know, I think that would have been really, really, really interesting. Actually.
Yeah.
And then up guns, burst cannon models with this tenet are equipped with an armor penetration of characteristic of -1, which we've already mentioned before, just on the burst cannons.
Yeah.
So look, some interesting set tenets for sure. Again, I'm with you. I kind of like it. I like the idea of a more mobile tower force. Perhaps that's just a play style choice thing. And the Farsight enclaves are sort of lending themselves more to that play style for me. Yeah. So look, we'll see what happens. We are now onto the prototype weapons systems. So the way this works is if a Tower Empire character is your warlord, rather than giving your Tower Empire character models a signature system, also known as a relic, from Codex Tower Empire, you can instead select a prototype weapon system for one Tower Empire unit in your army. To do so, before the battle begins, select one Tower Empire unit from your army and select a prototype weapon system from the list below. The prototype weapon systems applies to the selected unit until the end of the battle. That's the key thing. So you've got it the whole time, like a normal relic. Named characters, however, of course, cannot be given them. Note that some prototype weapon systems are weapons that replace one or more existing weapons. Where this is the case, you must, if you are using the points values, of course, still pay the points for that weapon. So if you're going to replace your broadside rail rifles with the new Magma rail rifles, you will have to pay for the broadsides to have rail rifles.
Yes.
So let's go over these now. Again, we'll sort of rapid through it, but we've got reactive countermeasures, battlesuit model with air bursting fragmentation projector only. Range weapons with an armor penetration of characteristic of -1 or -2 are treated as having an AP of 0 when resolving attacks against the model with this system. Pretty cool, you know, pretty cool. I don't know if I'd give up one of my relic slots for that, but you know, you go, okay. Fusion Obliterator, this is for Ghost Keels.
Yes.
Replaces the Fusion Collider. It's the Fusion Obliterator, now 24-inch range, heavy 3, strength 9, -4 damage d6. Also, you get your standard melter, you know, 2d6 if you're in half range as well.
Yeah.
Look, cheeky,
great,
not bad.
Yeah.
Advanced EM Scrambler. Ghost Keel again. Enemy units that are set up on the battlefield as reinforcements cannot be set up within 12 inches of this model. That is potentially a very, very powerful ability to have.
Yeah, so I like it. I have one issue with it, is you can only do it on one.
That's the problem. So what you can do is you could have one centrally placed for that center board control and just go, right, well, you're not coming anywhere near the center of this board to allow me the window to move up to it in my turn. Yeah. Which a lot of Tau armies traditionally, funnily enough, especially if it is the Triptide build with the shield drones, they do want to get to the center board as quickly as possible, so they don't lose that board control and the objectives around them. So you can kind of, you know, there is some utility there. Again, I don't know if I would take it because there's some other really interesting bits. Yeah. But it is some food for thought. Right, high capacitance railgun. This is for your hammerhead. Not obviously equipped with a railgun only. Basically got a solid shot, which is 2 shots, 16-inch range, strength 10 because it's 2 shots. Yeah. -4 damage d6. You've got sub munitions, which is heavy 4d3. So you've got, you know, a fairly reliable rate of fire rolling 4d3, fairly. Strength 6, -1, but it is only the damage 1 there. Also, when resolving an attack made with a solid shot profile, if you do a 6+ to wounds, you get d3 mortal wounds in addition. Look, okay. Yeah. You know, I'm probably not taking it on a hammerhead because I've probably taken some other units which I'd rather tool up, but you know. But that should be the normal hammerhead profile. Yeah, that's the weird thing is that's kind of just should be what it is.
Should be what it is.
Although I would argue that the submunitions should be damage 2.
Yeah, and well then we're talking.
Yeah, I would.
There's no mucking about there.
I would also not have damage d6. I would have damage. Probably
flat 3 plus d3.
I would either make it flat 3 plus d3, but that might get borderline out of control, or I'd make it d6, but it can't. A roll of 1 or 2 becomes a 3. It can't be less than 3 because this is This is like one of their premier weapons. You know? Yeah,
it's supposed to be. Their thing.
Yeah, it's like the Drakari Void Lance. On the Void Raven bomber, it's supposed to be the most terrifying anti-bastion sort of gun. You know, it's designed to take out fortifications. Yeah. And you know, it's d6 damage. It's basically a las cannon. Yeah. That's basically what it is. It might be -5, but who cares?
Yeah, not me. Not me.
So right now we've got the Gatling Burst Cannon. So this is for a commander, a crisis battle suit, crisis bodyguards, or a ghost kill.
Yeah.
Replaces the burst cannon. You've got 18-inch range, assault 4, strength 5, AP 0, damage 1. But when resolving an attack, an unmodified hit roll of 6 scores 1 additional hit.
So this could be wild.
Yeah, because
this is what I tried to showcase.
The weapon system replaces each burst cannon that models in this unit are equipped with. So it's not just one of them. So every burst cannon becomes 4 shots at strength 5.
And then if
damage
you
1, but any 6s explode for an additional hit.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, free view game, which you're able to jump over to and watch after this, or you may have already seen it. You do take a large unit, six-man unit crisis suits. All
yes, and I tried to utilise this, and
I don't give away what happens.
Well, you just watch.
Right, then we have. Then we have networked
come back and
lights.
then comment.
Yeah. Pathfinder team unit only. This weapon system replaces each marker light that models in the unit are equipped with. It's a 36-inch range, assault 1, marker lights. What am I missing with that? Why is that
heavy,
better?
Normally.
Because it's now
so you
assault.
can move and shoot without pain.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is
cool.
Good. That is good.
Yeah.
It's just, again, I don't know if I'm going to use that.
I've always just been a fan of having marker drones, but I mean, I get that, you know, I'm not a Tau expert, but
marker drones are good.
I just like the fact that they're tougher. And that they've always got that.
They can move and shoot, and they're always hitting on fours.
I like that.
I guess the only issue is you tell the drones need a babysitter. That's all.
Yeah, which I would also run generally, but I mean that's just me. Annihilation warheads, storm surge now.
I like this one.
Yeah, when resolving an attack made with a destroyer missile by this model, if it scores a hit, do not roll to determine the number of mortal wounds. It is just a flat 3 mortal wounds.
Yeah, so that's
really up to 12.
12 mortal wounds.
Yeah.
So you wait until your stabilization anchors are down. Yeah. You light another unit up with all the marker lights, and you're hitting it. All you got to do is hit.
Yeah.
And it's 2s rerolling 1s to hit.
Yeah.
So more often than not, that's just 12 mortal wounds.
Yeah. It's pretty cheeky.
It's not bad.
It
makes a single storm surge. You kind of go,
kind of more interesting.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. All right. Then we have the accelerated photon grenades. Units with photon grenades only. Accelerated photon grenade, 12-inch range grenade D6. It can only target infantry units. When resolving an attack made with this weapon, if a hit is scored, do not make a wound roll. Instead, the target is shocked until the start of your next turn. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model from a shocked unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll, so they're like dazed. In addition, shocked units cannot advance, and any charge rolls made for shocked units are halved. Halving the charge roll is pretty significant.
That's huge.
But yeah, there we go. Cross-linked stabilizer jets. So commander, crisis battle suits, or crisis bodyguards. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model in this unit, reroll hit rolls of 1 and reroll wound rolls of 1. So that's quite cool, because you could whack that on your crisis suit unit, but there's some interesting utility there, actually, with Farsight Enclaves, because we'll go into some of the things you can do to buff a crisis suit unit.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, look, having the inbuilt reroll 1s and to hit won't matter so much, because there's ways of getting marker lights and things you'll see that later. But the reroll 1s to wound is interesting.
Yeah.
Then we got the Magna Rail Rifle, which we have shown in the preview game, but it is 2 shots, strength 9, -4 damage d6. And here we go. This is the funny thing. The Magna Rail Rifle, which is basically a smaller rail gun than what the Hammerhead has a damage of d6, strength 9, -4, 2 shots, but rolls a 1 or 2 count as 3, and on a 6+ it does a mortal wound in addition.
Yeah.
So the normal rail rifles on the broadsides are better than the huge turret mounted. You see, that's for me where the fluff and the rules just aren't meeting whatsoever. So amplified ion accelerator. That's a Riptide battlesuit model only. Replaces its ion accelerator. I am a fan of this. I do think it's really good. You've got a standard 6 shots, heavy 6, fantastic. Strength 8, -4, 3 damage, brilliant. And then when you overcharge it, it's 6 shots, strength 9, -4, 3 plus D3 damage.
Which is wild.
Yeah, and there is no overcharge profile.
Yeah, which is cool. So that means you can always have your shields up.
Yeah, that's right, which is really good. So we've spoken about this more over on the game, but I think there's real validity to having that on a single Riptide.
Yeah, 100%.
And then just making him as tough as possible is really cool. Then finally you have high-powered incinerators, so battlesuit unit only. It's an 8-inch range still, so you can't deep strike in and get the shots off because you don't have any equivalent to long-range marksmen. And then you've got assault D6, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. When resolving an attack, it automatically hits. When resolving an attack made with this weapon against a unit within half range, so you've got to be 4 inches away, add 1 to the strength characteristic of this weapon for that attack. Frankly, I'm not taking that ever. It's just too situational. Yeah. It's not for me.
There it is.
We then have stratagems.
Yes.
Okay, so I will briefly go over all of these. Are there any that immediately jump out to you?
Man, have a quick look. There's a couple that just you go. These I will probably use.
Yeah.
So first of all, you've aerial targeting.
Yeah. Plus 1 marker light.
So plus 1 marker light.
Only 1 CP.
Only 1 CP. So yeah, it reads selects 1 enemy unit until the end of the phase. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model from your army against that unit, treat that unit as having 1 more marker light counter than it actually has for that attack.
Cool.
The amount of times as a tower player you roll and you only get 4. For a CP, you now have 5. Yeah. So you've got 2 ways of upping your marker lights now with the
marker light network, uplink
marker lights, and then you've also got the aerial targeting as well.
That's great.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of ones. If you're into sniper drones, deadly aim is quite cool. So when a sniper drone unit from your army is chosen to shoot with till the end of the phase, the armor penetration of the longshot pulse rifles in that unit are equipped with is improved by 1. In addition to the end of the phase, when resolving an attack made with a longshot pulse rifle by a model in that unit against a unit with in half range, the armor penetration characteristic of that weapon is improved by a further 1 for that attack.
Cool.
So if you really want to get in there and snipe those characters and drop down with them, actually it's pretty cool, right?
It is 2 CP though.
It's 2 CP.
So you are paying.
But kind of worth it in my opinion for a big blob of them. Wisdom of the Many's not bad, so you can use 2 of your ethereal, you can invoke 2 elemental powers.
Abilities, yeah.
Which is, again, if you're castling out, really handy.
Yep.
Modulated weaponry, we've shown that over on Community.
Yeah, so that's the maximum number of shots on your heavy weapons. Is it just, but not, you can't do it on a Titanic, but I know that there's going to be some people which immediately go, Yavara. Yeah. The Forge World's crazy haywire shotgun cannon thing.
White Tides. Okay, so a lot of people are being, oh, that'll be really cool.
And it is only 1 CP, so...
It's only 1 CP, but I'm sorry, I can't, it's not enough for me to try and build a list around White Tides.
Would you consider taking 1 White Tide, knowing that you have that? You just wouldn't. It's not quite there for you. No. Yeah, fair enough.
They just die.
Yeah.
And they're something like 415 points once you load them out properly.
Yeah.
There's no shield drone that can keep up with them.
No.
So you're going to have to wait till turn 2 or 3 anyway to get them up there.
Yeah.
And to have almost a quarter of your army to sink points into that.
Yeah.
This is just for 1, by the way.
Yeah.
You've got to invest about 500 points. They're just in a fun game. Why not?
Yeah.
But not competitively. Coordinated engagement. We've already seen that over in Community. That's when the crisis hits drop down and they get they choose 1 unit and they automatically have 5 mark lights on there.
That is 1 CP.
That's 2 CP.
It is 2
one.
CP. Okay. Because you're ignoring cover then as well, I suppose.
Rain of Fire, so you mean Vespids? Maybe Vespids are back. So, use the strategy in your shooting phase when a Vespid Stingwing unit from your army is chosen to shoot with. Until the end of the phase, when resolving attack with ranged weapon by a model in that unit, if the unit was set up on the battlefield using the Plunge from the Sky ability that turn, you can re-roll the hit roll. So, you would get, if you maxed out a unit, I think you can take 12.
Yeah.
So it'd be 24, strength 5, shots, -2, 1 damage.
I don't really care.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, there's too many things that other things I'd want to take over them.
They are quite cheap. So, I mean, if you're thinking of running that sort of stuff anyway, go for your life. What else? Those are the things that kind of really, stand. I mean, we do have now a promising pupil.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. It means you can take an additional warlord trait. It might be valid for something like Farsight Enclaves. Yeah,
but they haven't given the other Tau Septs any warlord traits.
No.
So at the moment, I kind of look at it and go, I'm not going to use that unless I'm playing Farsight, potentially. Because there's a couple in Farsight, actually, which were decent. So at that point, you go, okay,
that's probably where I would use it.
Yeah. But then, like I say, we've got lots.
They've got Raging Beasts for Kroot. They've got one strat for Kroot where you can add 1 to their hit roll and -1 to hit them. It's Hidden Hunters.
So Hidden Hunters use the strength at the start of your shooting phase. Select one
to save army.
To the end of the phase, when resolving an attack made with ranged weapons against that unit, whilst it receiving the benefit of cover, subtract 1 from the hit roll and add 1 to the saving throw. Sure.
The thing is, they still sort of kind of operate like a screening unit, or to try and wrap and trap some people, and you probably still want to just invest those sorts of points into drones anyway.
Yeah, drones or fire warriors.
So you just end up not looking.
So you get with the auxiliary units, you get 4 different stratagems.
Yeah, you're trying to, I can see the angling, GW. I can see it, but we need to fix the core data sheet.
They need to be fixed because at the moment, even though they're dirt cheap.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, look, they're not terrible. I mean, the problem is, it's just with Tau. I think you end up. Because you end up just having to be so specific with your points.
Yeah, and it's and because of the Tau Sept as well, with your Fire Warriors, right?
Yeah.
So like you go, I can take a screen, or I can just screen with Fire Warriors. And if you're going to charge me, I've got my Fire Blades in there. I'm going to be shooting you on 5s. Yeah. It's 3 shots a model. It's strength 5.
Yeah.
You're just. Even if you make it into combat, I've taken such a chunk out of you. And if you were to replace that with Kroot, the Kroot just die. Yeah. So it's kind of like the trade-off is, there isn't a trade-off in my opinion. Where Kroot are good, they can infiltrate, I suppose.
And they've got ambushing predators, which allows them to heroically intervene up to 6 inches. I mean, okay, okay. Yeah. Seasoned sniper, 1 Firesight marksman, you can shoot a character, even if he's not the closest.
So that's good if you are using your sniper drones, because suddenly they're re-rolling, which is nice.
Point blank volley, pulse blasters, pulse carbines, and pulse rifle models in that unit equipped with have the type characteristic of pistol 2, so you can just shoot into combat, which is brilliant. Effectively. Look, it's interesting.
The breacher one's all right as well. You can get max range with your weaponry, even if you're 15 inches away.
Yes. Okay.
If you're into if you want to
pulse onslaught.
Pulse onslaught.
Yeah, 1 CP.
So if you want to try and bring the Fish of Fury back, that's something you could use.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool.
Yeah, it's fun. Good fun.
So that's it. That's the strats. You then have the 8. Okay. So I'm not going to go into the 8 too much because, as far as I can tell, there isn't any significant change.
No, not that I mean, to be fair, I'm not as well versed in the 8 as
it's one of those things that's kind of niche in a way, because you don't see them very often. But, there are 1,120 points for 8 of them, 8 characters and 14 drones. I mean, it is interesting.
Yeah.
It is interesting, and you do have.
The problem I find is that, because obviously it's a fun thing to take. I don't think it's competitive because you're not spamming the weapons.
Right.
So like one will have a phlegma, for example, and another one will have a plasma rifle and then a fusion. Yeah. So you kind of go, cool. So the damage output seems really skewed and kind of all over the place. Yeah. But it's fun, and Farsight's awesome. So that's cool. But all
right. Well, and because the thing is, you can't change, you can't upgrade any of them. That's the key thing. So you've got no.
You kind of get what you
can't give them signature systems or anything like that.
But I think once we finally get the Farsight model, I think we would be able to run it.
Well, I think we're going to get Fletcher's got the 8, so a friend of ours has got the 8 as well. So I'm going to get him one as well. Yeah. And he's going to use them. He's literally got them all painted in the Farsight colours. Absolutely awesome. Right. So let's now get into Farsight. The forces of the Enclaves. So match play rule. Commanders. If you're about playing a match play game with a Battleforged army, you can include no more than 2 Farsight Enclaves commander units in each detachment. We're now onto something very, very interesting, because normally it's 1.
Yep. So they've broken their they've got
their own rule.
They've broken their own rule. GW have gone, do you know what? We're just going to let this slide, and that is very. I think any Tau player. Suddenly their ears have just gone, excuse me? What?
Well, I can get 3 cold stars and 3 enforcers now.
You can, because they're different data sheets.
That's correct.
So, now, before you go out and start buying, commanders through your nose, give it a little while, because they might FAQ it.
Wait for
so
an
it's
FAQ.
it's the same as Demon Princes.
Yeah, wait for an FAQ.
Now,
okay?
here's the thing. Here's the controversial thing. Are you ready to hear it?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready to hear it?
I think so.
I don't think they need to. I think 6 is fine. Given the current state of other armies and their power levels, what this will do is, don't get me wrong, it can be very, very strong and very strong. I've got some ideas.
It's quite fluffy for Farsight.
It is very fluffy. So you'd have the 6, the 8 is somewhere else, but this is the up and coming group.
That's right.
Yeah, it's kind of like the new boy band in town.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah. Nice.
But I think given where we're at in the marine meta and stuff like that, I think that actually something like this for Tau would give you a completely different build, which is actually hyper aggressive. It's very glass cannon, because it'll come down. It's going to hit incredibly hard, but then that's it. I think it's okay. Yeah, I think it's okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with it as well. You now have another ability called Aggressive Footing. Okay, all Farsight Enclaves units in Codex Tau gain the Aggressive Footing ability, so this is something new. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model in this unit against an enemy unit within 12 inches, treat the enemy unit as having 1 more marker light counter than it actually has. So what that translates to is you reroll 1s. But it also does help, because it means that you only need 4 marker lights to get that +1 ballistic skill.
Yeah, which is great. Right?
Which is a big difference.
Yeah, it's huge.
And we've already seen with aerial targeting, and there's other ways to just add those little extras on.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. It does absolutely encourage you to take a deep striking element of your force.
Oh, 100%.
So cool. Well, let's go over the stratagems now. We've got the Farsight Enclave stratagems. We have a veteran cadre. Now, this is good. This is a good one. It's 1 or 2 CP. Depending on the size of your unit. You can put it on crisis battlesuits or crisis bodyguards. If the unit contains 3 models, you do it for 1 point. If it contains 4 or more models, it's 2 command points. Models in that unit have a weapon skill characteristic of 4+, okay, and a ballistic skill characteristic of 3+. You can only use the stratagem once per battle, but if you're going to take 1 big blob of crisis suits, which is probably how I'd run them, rather than in smaller units at the moment, that's decent, because you've got a permanent buff now.
Yeah.
Granted, it's going to cost you 2 CP, because you're probably running 6, but that's really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And now I know that I'm deep striking in, I'm within 12 inches, I'm re-rolling 1s to hit. So I'm already hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s to hit. That's decent. We've then got...
Crisis suits are starting again to look...
Interesting.
In
Farsight, for me, specific.
In Farsight,
Furious Assault, 1 CP. Use this stratagem in your charge phase. When a jetpack unit from your army finishes a charge move, for each model in that unit, you can select 1 enemy unit within 1 inch of that model and roll a d6. On the 3+, the unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Okay, it's cool and fluffy for Farsight. It can actually be very, very useful in the right situation to be able to plink off that mortal wound. Maybe there's something that absolutely needs to die.
Yeah.
And you just charge it, put that stratagem on. It's actually really good situationally. 1 CP, Danger Close, it's called. Use this stratagem in your shooting phase when a breacher team or strike team unit from your army is chosen to shoot with, until the end of that phase when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model in that unit against an enemy unit within 12 inches, you can re-roll the wound roll. Again,
nice.
That's really good. That's a flat re-roll the wound roll there.
Yeah.
There is, of course, the argument, well, how are you delivering this unit? I'm not saying that Fisher Fury is back, Devil Fish.
But it's back.
Well, you know what? It's kind of more interesting when you do something like that.
Yeah.
Because I can go, right, I'm going to jump out now, and I'm going to re-roll my wound rolls. And then here's the other thing about aggressive footing. When resolving an attack made with a ranged model by a model in this unit against an enemy unit. So Actually, it's not just the crisis suits that are benefiting from that. Your mainstay fire warriors and breacher teams also benefit. So if you're within 12 inches and you use danger close and you have got a breacher team or a fire warrior team, you're rerolling the ones to hit automatically for that unit, and then you can reroll the wound rolls as well.
Yeah,
it's a very cool ability to have.
Yeah, and you're taking the big blobs at that stage with the fireblade in there. So
exactly.
in a devilfish, you
all the shots.
Yeah, so you'd have 33 shots. Yeah. Rerolling all those wounds?
No, I don't think it's bad.
I think it's bad at all. Because you can have 12 in a devilfish, so you have 11, the fireblade buffs them up, right?
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Then you've got 2 CP here, defense in numbers. Use the strategy in the fight phase or your opponent's shooting phase. It's crisis battle suits or crisis bodyguards when they're chosen as the target for an attack. Until the end of that phase, when a model in that unit would lose a wound, roll 1d6 on a 5+, that wound is not lost.
Cool.
Look, that is good because you're buffing up the resilience of that crisis suit unit.
Yeah, and you've already spent the points on it. You want it to stay around.
Exactly, and you've probably got some drones that have come in to support it as well to absorb some damage. And then if they get through that, you can put your defense in numbers on to, because they are 3 wounds a pop crisis suit. So I mean, it's shrugging wounds on 5s is certainly not bad at all.
No.
It is 2 CP, but there it is. Yeah. Then 1 CP Focused Fury. Use this strategy in your shooting phase when a character model from your army is chosen to shoot with. Until the end of that phase, when resolving an attack made by that model, you can re-roll the wound roll. Now, I'm a massive fan of this for 1 CP. Be it on Cyclic Ion Blaster Enforcer, be it on a Cold Star with 4 fusion, because how many times have you gone up there, you've managed to hit with all of your fusion, and then you've rolled a couple of 2s and 1s.
Every time.
To wound, right?
Every
you've gone
time.
to try and hunt down a knight or something.
Yeah.
This mitigates that completely. And in a character-based list, I see myself actually using that stratagem every turn.
Every turn. Yeah.
For 1 CP, I think that's.
See, I probably it's great on the cold stars. I think it's better on the cyclic though.
Well, it is because you've got more shots,
Yeah.
but situationally, depending on what you're trying to take out,
Well, you've got the option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's.
But I love it.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
This is what I'm talking about. So you can see how actually this little bit here, you kind of start to go, oh.
It's adding some spice that you're like, okay,
Yeah.
you got a bit of a kick.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And what can
You
I
like
load?
spicy food?
I love it. And what, sprinkle that spice all over me. I'm ready.
Okay. We're going to do the last stratagem now, Firestorm. 1 CP also. Use this stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Select up to 3 Tau Empire units with the Flyer battlefield roll from your army. So Flyer specifically, so it's got to be the Flyers. It's not fly keyword, it's Flyer battlefield roll.
Oh, okay.
This stratagem costs 1 additional command point for each unit selected. So if you've got 3 flyers, it will cost you 3 CP.
Sure.
Roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within 3 inches of any of these selected units. On a 4+, the enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Now the only swingy thing is that it's one of those situations where you spend a CP and it's not going off automatically. You still have to roll a 4+ after that.
Yeah.
That's the thing which sucks a bit for me. So I would be very reluctant to have 3 flyers and fly them up into enemy lines and then spend 3 CP to then go on to roll 2, a 1, a 2 and a 3 and have nothing happen. I've just spent 3 CP. So I can get its utility. It's only 1 CP. If you are running 1 flyer, and again, it's one of those situations where you need to plink a wound off of something desperately, you could then fly that flyer up to that unit, be within 3 inches of it and go, you know what? I'm prepared to spend 2 CP to get that mortal wound. So I'll spend a CP to roll the 4+, and then if I fail it, I'll spend a CP to re-roll it. But it's, you've got situations where it could work. That's the stratagems. We then have some relics and we have some warlord traits. That's quite brief. The relics, the Mirror Codex. This is an old one, reimagined. When resolving an attack by a model with this relic against a unit within 18 inches, you can re-roll the hit roll.
Great.
Super reliable. Then we've got the stratagem to re-roll the wound roll.
Yeah.
So perfect. Talisman of Arthas Moloch. This basically gives you a 5+ invulnerable save, and you can attempt to resist 1 psychic power.
It's happened!
Within 24 inches. So
it's
you've
happened.
Finally got some denial in your psychic awakening. You're more like psychic suppressing.
Yes, exactly.
Then you've got the seismic fibrillator nodes. Once per battle at the start of your opponent's turn, you can choose to activate the relic. If you do, until the end of that turn, when a model starts or ends a move within 6 inches of a model with this relic, roll a d6. On a 1, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Look, it is interesting. Again, you've got that situational, they've got to be within 6 inches, and then they've got to roll a 1.
Yeah.
But, okay. I'll be honest, it's probably not a relic I would take, because I've already been looking at other relics at this point, and I'm probably not going to want to spend too many CP to get additional ones.
Yeah.
But look, I get it. Warlord traits, Blooded Through War. When a morale test is taken for a friendly Enclaves unit with the Bonding Knife Ritual ability whilst within 12 inches of the Warlord, it's automatically passed on a roll of 4+ instead of 6.
Sounds really nice.
Yep. Aggressive Tactician, Commander model only. When this Warlord declares Montcar, it affects friendly Farsight Enclaves within 12 inches instead of within 6.
Very
That's
tasty.
really good.
Yeah.
Master of the Killing Blow. When resolving an attack made by this Warlord against a character unit, you can re-roll the hit roll. So you could do a character assassin there.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Which is cool.
Look, that's it. That's Tau. Very interesting. Quite excited to see what new lists could emerge out of this. And actually, we've got a Tau list coming up over on Demand.
Yes.
A list analysis.
Yeah, based on this.
Based on this.
So that should be exciting.
Yeah, so perhaps look out for that if you're an on-demand subscriber over on our website. But look, that's the review. I think I will conclude the review personally by saying I think some good steps in the right direction.
Yeah.
Still a long way to go for Tau and some of these older books now to really change how the army works fundamentally. But
yeah, there is a but. Like I look at it and go, cool. Do you know what this is going to do? It's going to invigorate my play style for a while. I'm going to try some different options, see how they work, and that's exciting.
It is.
Yeah.
It is really exciting. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. This has been the Tau segment of Psychic Awakening. We will be doing, of course, the Astra Militarum and the Gene Stealer Cult. So if you're interested in those, go jump over to those videos. They're all out on the same day. Crazy. And we'll see you next time.